Thank you. Hey, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. We have a pre-submitted question, I think, don't we, Caitlin?
We do.
Yeah, for me, please.
Ooh, that one went to us.
Is that the?
We had a couple come in.
Oh, there's a few.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I saw from Will how to use the flow tracking data shown in the data explorer of the extension type, which is great. But I'm realizing that the type has the user action. Oh wait, hold on. We already answered this one. That was answered. I answered that on email already to Alex Potter. Yeah. Okay, here's a question. And it looks like, I think this is from Wade. Wade, I'll let you talk. How to insert or update custom object records in Salesforce. Great question. I think the way that we would do this is using the SOQL query step, where we would we'd create like a dynamic merge in a SOQL query, and then let the SOQL query step do the insert for us. I could show you an actual example of that. We use decisions to do like a health score for accounts in Salesforce. And let's see here, customer CRM, Salesforce sync, no, scoring rule set. I might struggle to find this exactly. Customers. So to score all customers, it should be score customer. And then in here should be let's create health score history. Format main category. So trying to find the SOQL step. Sorry, it's what happens when you haven't looked at a project in ages. Let's do this. Let's go look at the flow structure report. Flow management. Let's try to find a SOQL step. Today. All right. Have we finally gotten broken through, Caitlin, to having too many questions to be able to answer? Fingers crossed. All right. I'm going to let this load, Wade, but yeah, it's going to be a SOQL query step. That's a step in the Salesforce module. I'm going to see if I can find an example here in a second for you. But there might be steps for specific objects in the Salesforce module. But if we have it, great. If we don't have it, then you can just write an insert statement in SOQL and then paste that into the SOQL step and use sort of text merging. Here, like SOQL query. SOQL is just Salesforce's query language, and you can do it reads as well as writes.
Yeah, I was used to, using SOQL to just read, I use it all the time and in the Apex coding to get all of my records I want. Never used it to actually do any writing. And then with all the custom steps or from the integration that you download, I see all the standard objects like, oh, I want to insert or update an account or case or something like that. But then this seems like if it was a custom object, it was different than, to go about updating, inserting those objects. They're
It's
custom.
not, it's not, it's just like, it has a different like object name. It's like C underscore, than the name you create. They have like a way to denote the thing, but like in Salesforce, we have a thing called a use case, which is a custom object, and we use SQL query steps writing inserts. You're running insert statements to insert or update statements to change the data on those things. Register user Salesforce, register change log. Let me see. Get all customer records. Fetch. Come on. Update, here you go. Update financial status on account. This is here you go. Here's a SQL query step, show editor. That's the body. So that's the data. We're updating finance status C, finance notes C. These are two custom properties on an account. Here's our service URL, right? We're formatting the URL, formatting the endpoint. It tells us that we're going to update an object, and here's the ID of the object. We're just using text merges here, and then we're passing in our Salesforce token ID that we get from our token refresh. And then this just runs on whatever, runs live. It runs on a schedule. In this example, this is on a schedule, and updates these properties on the account whose ID is here.
Okay, I think what was messing me up, because I found this, but I didn't understand it, was the service URL after instance. I was like, what is it referring to there? But it's referring to my my Salesforce instance with the it looks like you're using a merge text editor. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because the root of that is coming from, should be coming from the Salesforce module settings itself. So if I look at settings here, system settings, and I find Salesforce settings. No, it's not coming from there. Hold on, let me come back here and look at it that one more time. Service URL is coming from, interesting. That's Salesforce API services data. Oh, where is it coming from? Maybe it assumes it based on the token ID. That doesn't make sense. That is confusing. What the heck? Salesforce settings. Are we defining the actual root site? Let's. Where's it getting this information from? So you get direct customer account, get all field names for Salesforce object flow. Let me just look at this really quick. SQL query, this is probably going to be in the same format. Override SQL version, SQL query, select. All of these are reading from the Salesforce module. Missing. Oh, I'm missing something simple here. I guess maybe it does get it from the OAuth token. I guess it gets it from the OAuth token. I mean, it can't be any other way that it's working. So in this in the Salesforce module basics doc, it walks you through how to get a token, and then you feed that token into the token ID field, and then you do the path of, this one's even different. What's the difference between, this is SQL query get JSON. That's slightly different than what we were just looking at, isn't it? What did I say? Update finance status. Salesforce update data. Okay, this is a Salesforce update data step. Oh, okay. Yeah. everything is working under it must be referencing the token ID. So it's assuming the URL, which is built on the token. And can I look at that? I might not be able to look at that. Let's see. Here's OAuth tokens, or here's provider, and here's Salesforce, edit provider, and there's my callback URL at least. I think I can edit the token. I'm not sure if I'm giving you any helpful information here. Salesforce API doesn't
Well,
let
at
me
least no,
rename
yeah,
that.
because I got that far where I set up a provider and then I got the token. I got a good token, and I was able to as a test just insert an account. So I knew everything was working, but then I was like I was like, well, we have an approval process for a custom object, so I definitely want to use that. So then I started going with that, but then I got to that point where it's like you need to build the URL, and like I don't know what it's looking for, but I was, I guess it's ours. It's the Salesforce's URL, and you need to build it, but I wasn't sure how to build it. But I get, yeah, so I guess, yeah, I have the token ID all ready to go to input in there.
Create and update a record using REST API. It's going to be. So does that give you enough to go on?
Yeah, that helps a lot. That it puts me in the right direction of what I need to put in there for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it helps a lot. Thank you so much.
You bet. All right, what's next here? Blah, blah, blah. Insert update. Emmeline. Is Emmeline here? Emmeline's not here. So I'll wait on that. So here we go. Let's do Adrian. Round robin logic here. Get this into the chat. Here, Caitlin, you got it? Okay. All right, so round robin logic, 6 cases need to divide equally to 6 staff, 1 staff handle for 1 case, 10 cases need to divide into 3 staff. Already create some flow. How can we divide equally using the round robin logic? We had done this, and in fact, I think the simplest way would maybe, if you were to pull down, we have a ticketing project that we could send to you that has round robin logic in it. I don't have it easily available right now, but what we did is create a data structure to hold, and you would, every time a user would get a record, we would write the date time of that record. We'd have like their account ID and then the date time of the assignment in that record. And then when it ran again, it would fetch those records, right? So you create like a simple database structure. It would fetch them and it would sort them by the oldest date first.
Okay.
And then it would pull the account ID off that record and then assign the task to that person and then update that record as sort of last assignment date. That was kind of the algorithm we used.
Actually, I already created some flow and I got stuck at dividing into each equally. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have records coming in, so you loop those records, right?
Yeah, I already basically there's 2 tables differently. I created first for staff table and the other one is case table. I looping over, but they're overlapping the staff name as well. So they're repeating, like for example the staff name Kevin, and they will repeat it multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you're identifying, so what you want to do is you want to have some object to store this information, like a simple database structure, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
when you assign a task, take the ID of the user and the current date time and add it to that record. And before you assign tasks, fetch all of those records and then sort them by the dates.
Maybe can I share the screen?
Sure. We have a ton of questions. Yeah, so let me make you a participant here. We can see if we can do this really quickly. Just a moment. Go ahead and share when you're ready. Okay. You're on mute if you're speaking.
Hello? Yeah.
Yep.
So we have a list of cases, right?
Okay.
And then another things like a staff table, staff details.
Okay.
So I looping each
Mhm.
of each staff and
Okay.
the cases. So
Okay.
every time when we run, I have something like this, 6 cases in total, and
Okay.
then okay.
And you
So
want to
basically,
assign those 6 cases out equally?
yeah. Basically, I maybe I created sample first for 2. Another one, for example, like this. When I run the flow, maybe I will run from the debugger. Hmm, I debug. So basically, it will show for 6 cases, right? And then I
Sure.
submit. And then Kevin, Andrew, and Michelle, it will be the task counter should be divided into
Okay.
from 6 divided into the 3. So it's becoming 2, 2, 2. Kevin, task counter 2, Andrew 2, and Michelle 2. But currently, there's only 1, 1, 1. This is the current logic that I created. What's wrong with this? I already looping, right?
You need to loop through each staff
Yeah,
and then
loop.
you need to get the item out of the list, right?
What do you mean?
You need to build up individual lists for each user, right?
Okay, so what I miss on the step currently?
That's probably too broad for me to really answer for you, man. You're looping through each staff, right? So I would loop through each case, pull each case, and then fetch a record of the last time that user had an assignment. So you create another data structure here to hold that, right?
Another
So,
data structures again.
mhm. And then
Should
save the
I?
account ID and the assignment date as those properties.
Basically, I just want to reuse the staff details. So I just need to update the staff, the task counter.
Then add a property to staff details called last assignment date. And every time you loop through, update this last assignment date to current date time.
Which one?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I won't be able to build the flow for you on the call here, Adrian, but I can give you general guidance, right? You need to,
Okay.
if you loop each case and then fetch your staff details. So don't get staff, like loop through each case, then get your staff and order the fetch entity step by the last assignment date. That'll give you the person who has had the assignment last at the top. And then you can for each that loop, and then you can add them. Then you can loop through and add them and add that case to them in some way.
So what I missed the step. Coming back to this again.
Where are you doing the change value on the count?
This one, the task counter.
Where's that value come from?
What do you mean?
Where's add task counter 1 output? Is it that step right there?
This one.
Well, done. So your for each goes to next. Your for each doesn't do anything. It just loops back to your for each staff.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to change the value of your object there.
Change value of the object. Where is it? Going back to this again.
That's not right.
This
You
one.
need to
like
you
that.
need to do change value on the staff object as you loop through it and using an add step, right? Add 1 to the staff object count.
Okay. Add,
So on
I
the
add.
yeah, but you're doing it on the done path of your loop on for each. So it only runs once.
Okay.
So it needs to
so
be at right there in between those 2 for eaches.
this one.
Mhm.
Something like this.
And you take the current count value from the staff, add 1 to it, and change the value of the staff object.
This one is the task counter, right?
Mhm.
And then this one, just I added one.
And then change value.
Change value.
Scroll down.
The-
It's output. Scroll down. Scroll down. Change value item dot task counter.
Item dot task counter. Okay.
And then that'll update every time it loops through a staff. It's going to add 1 to the task counter value, and then save it. And then you need to save the whole object, the whole staff object.
Where is it?
Where's
Item
what?
dot task counter.
It's not a value. No, you save the staff object itself. So you need to use a save entities step and pass the staff, all of the
Okay.
staff objects from your get staff details in there.
Save entities.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go to where? This one first.
Don't need that update entity step anymore.
Okay. So no need this one, right?
Mm-hmm. And then pass your the list that comes out of get staff details into there.
Stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The
And then save
entity.
multiple entities. No build data. Save multiple entities at the top.
Okay.
Yep. And then pass your list that comes from pass your list in.
This
Yeah,
one.
there you go. And that should update that value for you.
Let me try to rerun.
Let us know if that
Six.
works for you. I need to move on to some other people's. There you go. There you go. Perfect.
Okay, okay. Noted.
Okay. All right. Are you able to make injuring a participant again? Caitlin, I don't think I can.
An attendee again? Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. All right, and then here we go. I need to share my screen again. Oh, it's so hard to see sometimes. Okay, and let's go to Nancy. Data repeater getting validated on parent form.
Yeah. It's the one I had from yesterday. It didn't quite work. The solution.
You're not getting the form to stop to the parent form to invalidate with the validation error in the data repeater.
Right. Like it's like I can do it if it's empty because that's required, but once there's data in there, I can't get the fact that it shows up like, okay, you're invalid, but it lets me continue on. I can't figure out how do I get that to where I can't continue on until I fix that or until the user fixes that.
All right, you want to? I can make you a host, and you can share your screen, and we can look at it real quick.
Sure, and you know what? I just set it up, and apparently I didn't save it, so I'm kind of resetting it up.
Is that something you're able to do quickly, or you need time for? Oh, okay. Caitlin's already moving you. Okay.
So I have to. Let me share my screen, and I do have to kind of just quickly reset this up. So let's see. Let me. Where's the share? Oh, it's giving me some. Hold on. Entire screen here. All right. Okay, so bear with me for 1 second. So control. And then I do I get the remove string up to an instance. Sorry, I had this set up, but it didn't. I must have hit not save. So if you have another question, I can reset this up and you can come back to me if you want.
Do we have any other questions right now from anyone? Let me check. That's a great point.
No, I think we're caught up.
Okay, it won't take me long here. I know exactly what to do. Okay, and then I put in a rule. I'm gonna pick an existing. I already got one. And then validation. False. Validation. True. And just to check. I need to pass the value. Oh, no, I need to pass you into here. Just let me double check that and see if it saved what I wanted. Okay, right. So if it's in this list, then it's true. And then here, I'm going to clear the validation on the sky. Here, I'm going to set the validation on this guy. And I'm going to build the array, build the data, shoot fatal, shoot to a constant. Okay. Let me make sure I hit save. Okay. So here, if I did that all right, I'll just run this. So I have kind of all this, you know, to where I can set this, right? And then, so save, please save, please save. Okay, so here's my simple little form, right? And I have this as, you know, next, it's next submitted, whatever, right? That's the button. So, and sometimes I just got, so if I debug this, and so I hit add data. So here's where, this is kind of like yesterday. I don't have anything in there, so I can't get by it because it's required. But so this is, you know, this is still there.
Okay.
Right. And so now it's good. So it's good right here. So I can do this. But where I want it to stop is that if I put just like this, where
Okay.
it's red, I need to stop them from hitting next.
Okay. And let's go look at your rule flow on the left-hand side and see what happened here. Okay, we ran it a couple times. Go to the bottom.
Yeah.
The one right above that, please. That's that's the rule step. The green one that says rule flow 1, please. Right below it. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so it went down the false path.
Yeah.
The last time it ran.
Uh-huh.
And you're setting a validation on it. And okay, let's go look at your parent form really quick.
Okay. In here or outside?
No, in the designer, please.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I thought I saw this question before.
Yeah, you said that yesterday, and I'm like, oh.
Right, and then so click on your data repeater.
Okay.
And then let me scroll down.
here.
So it is required on next.
Yeah, it won't allow nothing. It won't allow a blank, but
Oh,
it's allowing if I have something, but it's not passing my validation. That's
Yeah.
my
and let's go look at your validation. Go back to your active form flow really quickly.
okay.
It's a very simple flow. So scroll
This
down
one?
really quick. I see your text. Scroll down. Run at
Okay.
start. Okay, I see that. All right. So edit it now.
Okay.
All right. And let me see the set validation. Up.
All right.
It is fatal. Bad email domain. Okay. Close this. Close this. Sitting here. Startup is blocking. Why are you getting something different than me on your tests? Let me pull my. Look. 3. Let me just recreate. Let me share my screen now, and let's see if we can't get this. If I can recreate this really quickly for you. I didn't save my flow. There's that. Great. So I can pass results. So really quickly, debug. All right, so it's not empty. I can submit. It's don't do this. And I can't submit. Okay, so let me modify. It's just, is it doing a hard check to see that the properties? So let me modify my rule really quick and see. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you had something in there, like if your answer had to contain some value, right? So it's not an is empty.
Do this. We'll do string equals. And if it equals hello, it'll equals hello, it will throw the validation. So this is value, okay. So that should pass. But if I type hello, that should invalidate, and that will pass. Okay, great. So we're in the same state as you now, at least. Now, is there a control that allow us to not proceed with this at all? I don't think there is. It's required. think we're gonna have to do something like we're having to send a validation to the parent form. Do you already have a support ticket open for this, Nancy?
I do. I just opened it this morning.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we're gonna need someone to provide a sample here for you that I don't think I'm able
Okay.
to do, because I think what we're gonna have to do is like get this thing to set a value on the parent form in some way that we actually check here, like fully, data repeater, like a checkbox that's hidden that says data repeater fully validated.
I was thinking the same thing, Will, and I was trying to figure out like how we would do that, like setting the value of basically some kind of an indicator of it's valid, right? And then there could be making sure that they're all valid before I move forward and just kind of hide it. But I don't know how to get something from that data repeater, say up to like, I wasn't sure, do I need like a flow data extension or what the best avenue is for that. But to get something right where you were thinking like, I got to get it to where the parent form knows what's going on.
Here's my recommendation. Probably that means we're going to need to build a scenario example and send it over to you. I would proceed as if you have this validation in place while you wait for support to build an example for you. And then they'll send over like a sample of some sort that demonstrates how to do this, and then you can use that and move forward. I don't think I don't think I'll be able to futz through this right now. Unfortunately.
Well, I have that open, so I'll just respond to that and let them know that I'm needing that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, this looks unexpected to me. It should just be a validation. It shouldn't trigger in some way because it's null. It should just be looking at the validation.
Right.
So why it is, I'm really unsure about.
Right. Okay. Well, at least we're on the same page.
Yep. Triggers run is blocking. Low outputs. That's not going to do anything. Run on all outcomes. Let me just say, I'm just going to click run on all outcomes really quick, just as a test here. Yeah, that's good. Valid, invalid. Hey, there you go. Look at that. Okay, try that. That's just a guess.
Oh, okay. Right.
Go edit your flow.
Okay.
And
it's
on the active form flow on the data repeater itself, set the run on all outcomes checkbox to true and try again.
Okay, I just did that. Okay, let me see. Oh, I hope it's just this little setting. Okay, so I know I'm not sharing, but I'm basically working through this right here.
It should be more clear. I just does a total guess on my part if that works for you.
That's all right. Okay, so yes. Okay, now let me try the positive. Hold on. It worked, Will. It worked.
Okay, great. There you go.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Yeah, you bet. Happy to help. That was lucky guess.
Okay,
So,
I'll just reply back on that and say that it's checking the run on all outcomes, I guess. Which,
okay,
you're right.
Wonderful.
Kind of odd. Like I would.
Yeah, that's very intuitive, right? Very intuitively named. Yeah. Wonderful stuff there.
Okay. Great. Oh, I've been working with that one for a while. Oh my gosh. So glad.
David, does that gives you the answer to your question as well, sir? Looks like you're asking about that in the Q&A section.
Yeah, I was curious about how to do that. Like we have a thing that uses a mixed type data repeater with some validations and stuff on it. So it sounded like that was kind of the same thing. Like whenever we upgrade to 8, we'd probably have to do that. So I was just wondering, but it seems like an easy fix. So.
Yep, that was not what I was expecting to do something much more difficult than that. Knowing decisions. So good to know. Yep, happy to help there. Okay, here's a question from Anonymous. For SAML documentation, at the bottom it has some scripts for metadata. Is this Go? I believe that that goes in the identity provider. That's information that needs to get entered into the identity provider in some place specific to specific. Let me ask you a question really quick. It's actually going to be in the SAML module settings, apparently. I don't think I have the SAML module, and I'm sure it requires a restart. Oh. Okay. All right, so in SAML settings, enabled either provider. Read metadata from text, and then you would paste it. Perfect, thank you, Ryan. It would go here. So in the SAML module, under the read data from text dropdown for metadata document preference is where that metadata, that SAML metadata will get added to.